Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I am Ross Marassa with my guest today, Lauren Stinnett, owner and chief organizing officer at the company called Order in Your Court. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Sure. I had some thoughts I was going to initially toss out to our listeners, but first, why don't you just explain a little bit about what you do? I found this very interesting. You're the first person I've ever come across that does what you do.
Yes. Well, first of all, Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
Everyone, hope you had great holidays, and all the listeners as well. We are a professional life organizing company. So I know a lot of people see on TV and books and Instagram and TikTok the organizing of your home, but we actually help with more than that. We help with pre and post packing, offices, homes, anything like that. We also organize businesses, anywhere from hair salons to, Fortune 500 companies that are making a big move to a new building. And we also help in life organizing. What does that mean? That can mean a whole bunch of family is coming in town for the holidays or for a family reunion, and we need to coordinate everyone's flights and do ground transportation from the airport to hotels or to a home, to a venue. Or you need help organizing your kid's 5th birthday party or anything like that. We help organize it. So it's just options are limitless with that.
So let me ask you about when you say organizing. Sometimes, and I know that you also, it seems as though you have you have experience, background in interior design as well, right? And they are different, but not necessarily mutually exclusive. When you're organizing, it's not just about clutter. So is there also a focus and an understanding about flow, or just how your clients would want things to sort of look and feel, besides just, I want less stuff on my counter?
Yes. I mean, every client is different, and every space is different. So we really focus on that person individually, or that space individually, or that business individually. What works within that space? What is the goal for that person? There's many types of different organizing. The two main ones are a person likes their things organized and put away, or a person that likes them organized and put out. So we really have to get to the bottom of that and see what kind of that is and how they operate the best. So there are many different ways to tackle a space and a client when we first come across and meet and have our first session. So it's really up to that client and what their ultimate goal is. So most cases, we always need to purge. Everyone needs to purge. I am a professional organizer, and I still purge my home every single day. So starting with purging is great, and then categorizing, and then finding homes for all those things. Those are your main rules and responsibility when it comes to organizing your space.
When we talk about purging, right? So like, we all seem to think we've kept stuff around because, I might need it one day, right? That's probably always our first line of defense against tossing something out. What is a mindset, or like, how do you get us in this space to let go when you're in a purge mode?
To let go. Well, we talk about that item. If it's something that is hard to get rid of, why is it hard? Is there sentimental value behind it? Okay, you might use it. What might you use it for? And how soon would that be? So we talk through, I've sit with clients for hours talking through their items, and that's totally fine. And what a lot of clients need help with is actually getting rid of the items versus I can organize it. I just have too much to organize and I don't know where to start. So that is where we start. It's really, why do you need it? And if you can tell me a really good answer for why you need that item, then we can hang on to it. But if it's just because, then let's talk about, well, we can only have a handful of just because items. It is hard for clients to get to the point to allow a professional organizer to come in, and
Mm,
for a stranger to come in and say, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this. That's really hard. It's an emotional roller coaster. So I'm just there to help guide and talk through things when they might not have that person to talk through on why we're keeping all these things. So with that said, many reasons why we purge, and uh, keeping those things for really good reasons, actual useful reasons. And how soon are we going to put that into action?
right. Not like, oh, maybe one day I could need a wire, so I've kept a spool of 500 feet in my living room.
Exactly. Yes. You're
So
probably not going to need that.
let me ask you, if you had just a simple, are there a couple of tricks or rules of thumbs that you sort of use or we can give ourselves for guide rails if we're looking at throwing something away? Like you say the
uh,
why, right? Like, sure, like why would I
mhm.
need it? And I think we've established, well, maybe one day is like, who cares? But I don't know. Like if it's a piece of clothing, if it's five sizes too
Sure.
big or if you kept it too long, like what would you say would be some rules of thumb if we're looking for assistance to give ourselves permission to toss something? What would you point to?
Well, clothes is one we can touch on. Have you worn it in the last year?
Mm,
No, if you haven't, okay, why in the last year did that keep you from wearing it? Did you have a baby? Did you have a big life event or surgery? Or honestly, was it COVID and you didn't leave your house and you wore yoga pants and sweatshirts every day? So let's talk through those things. And has your job changed? Do you used to wear business professional every single day and go into the office and wear high heels and get fully dressed, and now you work from home and you wear PJs from the waist down? So let's talk about why it's so different for each person and each item. But rule of thumb for clothes: have you worn it in the last year? If you haven't, you've gone through all the seasons, you've gone through all life's events that happen throughout that year, you're probably not going to wear it anymore, unless something big has happened. So let's go ahead and say goodbye to those items. Let's donate them and share them with others that could use them. Or if you're a person that wants to sell those items, there's many platforms to sell, gently used clothes and shoes and handbags and things like that. And we also help with that. That's another thing we help with.
right. So that takes away the if something was like worth a little bit of money, but
Mm-hmm.
like, and it turns out I've sold things on eBay, right? And that's just probably one of,
Yeah.
as you would know, numerous places. But it can sometimes just be, oh, it just takes a minute to do that, or more than a minute, really. And so it just ends up just sitting there. So, ways to help people if they wanted it because, well, I wanted to get a few bucks off of it, that you could help them do that.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, there's many platforms that we can use that are free. There's also platforms that have a little bit of charge that may have a higher success rate. It just really depends on the item. We also hold a garage sale once a quarter.
Mm,
So for any clients that want to say, okay, I want to sell that in your garage sale and are willing to wait for that, then that's definitely something that's an option as well.
I like what you're saying, like just a general mindset of where is my life going? Right. And just
Mm-hmm.
in that in general, or where do I want it to be going? And that seems like just that alone can start to help you. Am I going to need these things or not? I turn into a lawyer. I'm not a
Exactly.
carpenter anymore. I don't know how many more milling saws I really need to keep around the house anymore.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, life changes, careers change, and that's great and that's awesome. But you might not need those things you used in the past that you would use in the future or now.
Now, I saw on your site that you have something called a toolkit. Is this something that's still available for people? Something that you're working
Yeah.
on? Yeah.
And yeah, it's something that we're working on that we just started not too long ago. But that's just sharing resources, or we call them printables, that people can download or print off, and that are most of them are free or just $1 or two, that can help you start getting organized.
Okay. So a place where I think organization, well, certainly for me, it was a place where I needed it. I moved a few years ago and it almost broke me. Now, we know that moving companies can help you unpack, and that is a chunk of it, which I'd like to touch on for a second. But you also
Mm-hmm.
help people and families get packed and moved and figure out what to move. Is that something you do as well?
Yes, absolutely. So if you want to talk about the full moving process, we can come in prior to and help you purge items throughout the home. And then when it's pack time, we can just throw everything into a box. We've already categorized everything. And we know we have a game plan. We've seen the new space, the new house. And so we can say, this is going in the kitchen to the on the left side or whatever it is. And it makes the process really seamless. You've already purged all those items, so we know what we have and we can go in and make it really seamless. We also can do this process while we pack. Um, it takes a little bit more time in the packing process, but some people just didn't have it together or they weren't ready to do that. And then they open their cabinets and they realize, wow, I really do need help packing and purging before, because it's silly to pay to move stuff you're never going to use, right? Like if you have a whole garage full of your kids' clothes and they're in their 30s now, grown and gone, we don't need to keep those, and we definitely don't need to move them to the new house. They don't even live with you anymore. So then we can pack everything, and we have a certified professional movers where we pack and move everything to the new home. And then that's where our organizers come back into play by unpacking and placing your items in the new space with or without organizational products. So that could be bins, baskets, you
Hmm.
name it, drawers, shoe space savers, anything for this space. Then we label everything. So you're starting in your new home fresh. Everything has a home and a place, and it just makes the move process much more pleasant and gives you a fresh start in your new court.
For those of us joining, I'm talking with Lauren Stinnett, Chief Organizing Officer at orderinyourcourt.com. She's based out of Dallas, Texas, but does travel around the country and
Mm-hmm.
will come to you. You know, as we're talking about moving and reorganizing offices and homes, things like this, you know, these are an extension of ourselves for many of us. Do you find that there is
Mm-hmm.
a mental preparedness that can be helpful for all of us if we're looking at some larger reorganization or changes?
Absolutely. Change is hard for everyone, but change is a great thing. It can make you feel better, feel lighter, less stressed when you go to bed at night. Like, oh my God, the playroom is a disaster. What am I going to do with all that stuff? It is Organizing is life changing. Many people think, why would people pay for that? Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. But it really, once you have a taste of it, most of our clients can't wait to come back for more and have us more. It is an expense. It's not a need. But there's many ways that you can use organizing tools in your life without spending an arm and a leg. We do virtual sessions.
Hmm.
You can also use our resources online. We can come in and I can give you ideas within your space and let you take it from there. Some people want to be hands-on, or they just need 1 or 2 sessions with us and have us guide them, and then they take it and they love it. And when they're more hands-on, and within the process they're proud of the work, they maintain it better. So there's many different ways that you can use professional organizing, and or do it yourself. DIY is great, but always get tools or resources or advice from a professional. If you are a true professional organizer, you've been through lots of training and continuing education, because things change, and it is mentally tough. You're almost like a therapist, and some professional organizers do have that level of training. I do not, on my way to, but so it is crazy because we see, and we're touching all your personal items, and going through history of life with you, and
Mm-hmm.
traumatic events that put you in the place that you need a professional organizer now. So we've come very close with our clients and help them through big life events. Either it's happening now, it happened, how do I help me get out of this? Or this is coming, a baby's coming, I need to change my house. So, we help in many different ways, but it's a big deal. But we love what we do, and we love helping people, and the light and the joy when people walk into a new space after we've organized is the best part of it all.
Now, this isn't something that you just uh, decided one day in college I'm going to go major in. I've never heard of this before, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show. So I would assume it's something you had a passion for. Like, how did you learn that you had a passion for this? Like, when did you know? 3 years ago? When did this start for you?
No, no, definitely not. I've had a passion for professional organizing since probably age 5. My dad, my hero, he was very organized in life. When we went on family vacations, everything had a folder and a label and all this stuff. When he cooked, like everything was, set out like he was on a TV show, like everything was pre-measured. It was, I just started to pick up on that, on the way he handled his work, and everything like that. And I don't even think he realized what he was teaching me. But I just watched it, and I was like, I like how life is when it's organized, when it's picked up, when everything has a home. So that brought a light to me. So, in middle school, I categorized my clothes, which, okay, not a big deal. But in middle school, I went to the next level of taking pictures of all my clothes, going to the store, turning my film in, printing them off, bringing them back home, numbering pictures, numbering all the tags in my closet and my drawers. And I had a catalog of my clothes. So that's not a normal middle schooler. Most people are out playing, riding bikes, which I did that too, don't get me wrong. But that was, I loved when things were orderly. I call my friend, hey, Paige, can you come play? No, my mom says I have to clean my room and I'm just not going to do it. How about I come clean it? Like, it brings me therapy just like it brings my clients therapy and a new start. So I've had a passion for organizing for very, very, very long time. And I just got the opportunity to start my own business, and it has taken off, and I'm so thankful and blessed for that. And I can't, every day I wake up and I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to organize. So organization is definitely something that's within you. You can build it, you can grow. People do that every single day, but I have a problem. I like to say a good problem. So I can't sit still. I can't stare at a mess or a disorganized cupboard. So that would be my problem, and something sometimes I need to work on. My husband's like, stop organizing. Just sit down and watch a movie. I'm like, let's organize the movies. Do we have them in the right case? And so being a professional organizer has its bonuses and pros and cons, I guess you should say. But it is my passion. I love it a ton, and I love teaching and sharing with my clients every single day about
Something,
organizing.
I was looking at your portfolio on orderingyourcourt.com, and I noticed something in some of your photos, especially in like closets and things like that, where not only is things
Mm-hmm.
organized and stacked up or in bins, I noticed there was lots of labels like on the bins and stuff. Do you think that
Yes.
that's important to throw labels on like where stuff should be going?
Yes, absolutely. I am a label fanatic. I like to label anything and everything. If there's not a bin or a drawer or something to label, I'll put it actually on the space itself. That might be taking it to the next level, but when you have multiple people in your home or
Mm.
in your office or whatever using the same thing and they don't know where to put it, then how on earth do you expect a space to continue to be maintained if they don't know where to put it? Because you're the one that organized it, but your son doesn't know where to put the markers because he got them all out, but he's 4 years old and he doesn't remember where they go. But if it says markers and they continue to put it back in the same place, then he knows where markers go. And that goes with office supplies, or the grocery store. When if you send your husband to the store with a grocery list and you're out doing 8 other things and he comes back and puts the groceries away but just shove them in places, then your hard work of maintain or organizing is not maintained. But if it says here's where all the things go, then he knows exactly where to put them, and it continues to be maintained. And then that person will appreciate your hard work and the space that what it takes to organize and maintain a space.
I like that, because we get busy and often distracted, preoccupied, and just absent-minded. But if there's sort of a label there, it kind of lets us know in a real small, delicate way, we're violating the rules here if we just want to go ahead and toss
Mm-hmm.
it in the closet and move on. But
Yeah.
without having a label there at all, where does it go? Right. I think, and so that really jumped out at me when you did that. So do you try to like label as much as possible when you're looking at
I
closets and other spaces?
I do, absolutely. Even when we're organizing in a dresser drawer, when you pull out that drawer, there's always a little lip of wood or whatever material your dresser is, and we'll label that. So if you have a housekeeper or a mother-in-law that lives with you that helps you put away your laundry, then we'll stick that within the space, and they can see, oh, socks go here, oh, underwear goes here. So you can see that within the space, and it just continues. And it sees, oh my gosh, I'm getting really low on socks. I need to do laundry. So there's many, many, many reasons for labels, and that is probably my favorite thing to suggest to clients when they're doing things on their own is label. And there's all kinds of label makers out there. There's crazy expensive ones and there's very budget friendly ones. So start somewhere, and label as much as you can.
That's right. I mean, we can get, like you said, go to Office Max, get a labeler, or we can just use some masking tape and a Sharpie, I suppose, right? Whatever's good.
Yes, yes. Just be careful of your surface. Test your surface before. You don't want to rip paint or glue or anything off of your surface before you put that down. But definitely, there's many ways to label.
In the past, I've gotten a house cleaning service or two, and I always find myself getting rid of them because I feel like, and maybe other people have said this too, I just feel like I'm doing all the cleaning before they get there. And
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, I do it because, well, how do they know where it goes? But labeling
Yeah,
seems to be able to solve all of that. Do you,
exactly. Yes, they would know where to put it, and if you have someone come in new every time, then how are they going to learn your space? There's always a learning curve when maintaining and organizing a space. So when it comes to housekeeping too, I'm pretty picky as well. But you have to give them a chance to learn your space. Oh, okay, I know where all the silverware goes now. That's easy. I'm just guessing, oh, cup goes here. But if you have labels, they'll know exactly where it goes.
Okay, so that's something else too. I guess I've never done that. I mean, I don't have a regular house cleaning service that comes through for the reasons I had mentioned to you. Um, but when you do, if you are going to have other people around that will be dealing with that, to give them like a walkthrough a little bit of your life so that they know
Mm-hmm.
what to do.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And I do that with my closet or with my clients. I'll walk through the space, even if we're not touching anywhere in the house but the master bedroom suite. I just kind of need to know the lay of the land, because if I find a big piece of wood underneath the bed, then I should know where that piece of wood goes. Does it go in the garage? Is there a wood workshop out back that I need to know about? So knowing the whole space and them telling me pros and cons and likes and dislikes really helps me get a boundary and a barrier of their whole court, even though we're not organizing the whole space. It helps, and that would be tremendous help for your cleaners as well. Hey, the extra sheets are in this closet. If you run out of laundry detergent, there's more here in my back stock in my garage. So just walking through things like that with anyone is going to help make the experience better for both sides.
Help them help you, as it were.
Yeah.
So we only have a couple of minutes left. So any final thoughts you have for everybody listening today? And above that, tell everybody again exactly where they can find you.
Okay. Well, you can find us at orderinyourcourt.com. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. You can email us at info@orderinyourcourt.com. The website can take you there as well. You can call us anytime, text us anytime. We are happy to and would love to help bring order to whatever court you need help organizing. Let's see, what else? Okay, and final thought. Oh, and we're in Dallas, but we travel everywhere. We just got back from Crestview, Colorado this last week. So we are anywhere and everywhere you are. I am okay. Final thought would be start somewhere and start holding or building a budget for organizing. Even if you're not going to hire a professional, you're still going to need organizing supplies. If that's label maker, if that's labels, if that's bins, whatever it may be, to take your space to that next level, to get it organized to where you appreciate it and enjoy it, you're going to need some sort of supplies. So yes, labor is free, but you still need a budget for those other items. So start small, start with one drawer, and you'll get a taste for it, and it'll take you very far.
Lauren Stinnett, Chief Organizing Officer at Order in Your Court. It was a real pleasure to talk to you today. I could have sat on this for another hour with you. We are out of time, but thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, thank you for having me, and Happy New Year.
And thank you all for listening. Until next time, I'm Ross Morasso. Bye for now.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.